Well, good afternoon. It's nice to see a crowd here, and hopefully as we share something of our experiences in Uganda just a few weeks ago, you'll be encouraged to see what God is doing in that country. So we have hundreds of photographs, which we're not going to try and show you all those today, because we'd be here for a few hours if we did that. But we've picked out some of the key points in our visit, and hopefully they'll give you a flavour of what we were doing and what we were seeing. We went really with two purposes. We're going to visit two projects that we as a church support. Don't know if you know that, but we've already heard about the Bible translation work based in Bidaka, which is translating the Lugwiri language, the Bible into the Lugwiri language for the Bagwiri people. And the other project is Music for Life, which is the African Children's Choir. And if you've been around in Bradford for a little while, you probably have heard of the African Children's Choir and may even have been to some of the concerts that we've held here in the church or in the local school. So hopefully it will be familiar to some of you anyway. And you might recognise a few faces. We'll try and put them out on the way as we go through the slides. So we're just going to chip in. We've all got a microphone. So have you turned your microphones on?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Testing.
And we're going to it's not scripted. We're just going to be governed by the slides, really. So here we go. So this is the team that met for the first time at Gatwick Airport. We hadn't met each other before in the flesh. We'd seen Hugh, who's on the right. He'd been the one who's kind of been organising the trip, really. And his colleague Martin is in the back. And Martin, what does Martin do?
He's a director.
Director, wasn't he?
He's a
Director.
He's a director. There you go.
Do fundraising.
Wycliffe is a very big organisation, and Wycliffe started in America. So the American side of Wycliffe is much, much bigger than the UK. But anyway, Martin's a director here. Good. Okay, so that's where we met. And this is the team that actually travelled around together. So you can see Hugh on the left, and there's Graham, myself, Bridget, Katrin. I have discovered, by the way, whilst we're on this trip, that for 25 plus years I've been saying Katrin's name incorrectly. I always put the emphasis on the second syllable, but it should be on the first syllable. So instead of being Katrin, it should be Katrin.
Katrin, yeah.
Well, so there you know. So if you're like me, you're going to struggle to relearn. Yeah. Anyway, so Katrin, Michael, he was one of our drivers, and Michael works with the guy next to him, Gift, who is the coordinator for the Bible translation work. That's right. And then Martin on the right. Yeah. So this is where we stayed when we first got there. We got there some ridiculous time in the morning, something like what time was it?
About 2ish.
2 was it?
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning. This lovely nun greeted us because we were staying in a convent, and this is the convent. It was a lovely place, very basic but very beautiful. So this is just a little scan around some of the grounds, but very, very nice place indeed. And the grounds were kept perfectly. I did make a recording of the bird song, but I couldn't work out how to reproduce that today, so sorry about that. Anyway, a nice place. So do you want to talk about the journey we went on?
Oh, yes. Because then we were up early the next morning. My goodness me. What a journey that was, because we flew in from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, into Entebbe, got there, as we said, about 2 in the morning or something. So this nun greets us at the convent, and then up early the next morning, where we, after breakfast, which was, yes, not what we're used to, let's say. They have food called Rolex, and it's not a watch. It's basically a a pancake with
An omelette.
an omelette wrapped around it. Or was it the other way around? I
Other
can't
way
remember. Yeah, whichever. And it was just so bizarre. No, I'm sorry. But then we went, what was this about? And what was it, about a 6-hour journey, wasn't it? Something like that? Yeah.
Well, it says 5 hours, 1 minute on there, but that wasn't correct.
Well, no.
No, it took longer than that.
No, definitely not. And we had to stop halfway at Ginger, which I don't think is on the map.
Yeah, it
It
is.
is, just
Yeah,
about.
That's it.
double blue line meets the main blue line.
Right, okay.
Sorry, there isn't
That's
a pointer,
ginger.
otherwise I didn't
Well-
realise that when Andrew explained it to me.
Yeah. Well, guess what happened? We broke down. Well, one of the vehicles, we went up in 2 vehicles, okay? One of the vehicles broke down. So they said, well, you, Brook and myself, and was it Katrin?
Yes.
Yeah, went off with Michael and I forget who else was with us. It might have been Hugh.
Hugh was with
and,
us.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Martin stayed
And
behind.
Bridget.
Bridget with
Gift.
to support him in the breaking down situation. So fortunately, Lord had broke them down not far from a garage. So after a lot of phone calls, they were fixed up and repaired and carried on the journey. Some hours later, anyway, schoolboy error here. Brook and I went off and our suitcases were in the other wagon that had broken down. So of course, by the time they'd arrived, hours after we'd arrived,
About 5 to midnight.
yes, we were up waiting for our suitcases to, as you can imagine. So that was a very, very long day and a short night once again. But other than that, that was, yes, a journey never to forget. The driving, the maniacs that are around, and oh my goodness. But since you were out there, Brook, you were saying that in 18 years, the infrastructure had improved.
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
yes.
So the main roads, this is one of them, you see the picture of here, the main roads are pretty good. Once you get off the main roads, they're dirt roads everywhere. All, through the rural areas, it's all dirt roads. Anyway, this is a typical journey.
But I still wouldn't want to drive there.
They have these
Because
Yeah.
if you have people turn off, so like we're driving there, if you want to turn off from the other side, you just sort of go in the other lane, you stop the traffic in the process, and then you turn off. And then they have lots of little motorbikes, so they do the same. So every so often you have a little motorbike that sort of slowly comes across your front to turn off over there.
interesting travelling.
Yeah.
So this is a typical road through some of the places we went through on the journey.
Yeah.
Very, very congested traffic. This road was a main road through to the ports in Kenya. Everything that comes into Uganda from the sea comes from Kenya and down these roads. And it was nose to tail, heavy lorries for much of the way. So you couldn't really pass very much. But this is very typical of what it all looks like as you drive around. Okay, so there's a bit more of the journeys. This was after we'd encountered a rainstorm on another day, and the road turns to mud very quickly. What was a nice dry dirt road turns to mud. And you weave your way down the road, as you'll see in a moment, in this clip. So we were in this vehicle, the other one we were together with up ahead, you can just see it. And it had been torrential monsoon type rain, and the water did tend to drain off the road mainly, but the gullies down the side were like rivers, just full of water. But this road here was fairly typical of some of the better dirt roads. Okay, so do you want to talk us through this next bit?
Yes, I can do. Hello, everybody. Right, this is the translation team. They're the people who actually translate the Bible from mostly English, into Lagweri, which is the local language. So at the moment, they've done all of the New Testament, which was launched, I think it was about 2017, with a big party. And they've got 10 books of the Old Testament, and it's all now been bound into one Bible. So this is like, for example, the translation of Mark when it first appeared. And there's some more, like a spelling guide for their language. Now, we've got the team leader, who is Davies, and he's been doing it from the beginning, hasn't he? Have they all been doing this from the beginning?
No,
No, Timothy probably hasn't, but the others
Davis
have.
has.
Davis has. I think I've seen Robert and Eric and George. They are the translators, Nanyo and Timothy. Timothy does back translation, which effectively means that once a piece of scripture has been translated into Lagweri, he will then read it and put it back into English. So you know that it makes sense, that it actually says what it's meant to say. I'm in awe of Erin. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that gentleman's name.
Gasiogo, wasn't it?
Gasiogo, yes, the one with the black waistcoat, because he was with me a few times doing translation. And whether it was from English to Lagweri or from Lagweri to English, it didn't really matter. And it was just amazing. It was so fluid, so fluent, and even though I'm bilingual, I can't do it. So I take my hat off to him.
Do you want to talk us through the steps in the translation?
Yes. Have we got the next? Oh yes, fabulous. Right, on the top left is the Lagweri. On the right is several versions of English, and at the bottom is the Hebrew. So what they do, they have a 12-step program for every sentence, which involves them doing a basic translation from the English into Lagweri, and then they go through it. Everybody gets given sort of about, 5 verses at the time. They go away, they do the translation, they come back as a team and work through it and say, okay, why have you translated it like this? And then they will go out into the community and say, right, we've done this bit of scripture, and read it to them, and then ask them, does that mean anything to you? Do you understand it? Or have I suddenly used the word cucumber when I should have said bread? Or have I misspelt something? Or does it not make any sense whatsoever? So they then go back and do more translation to the point where they then get it to a point where it can be done, the back translation, and they will have consultants, which are based in America, who will then go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And because they've agreed and signed off the New Testament, they will then say, okay, this word you've translated in the New Testament as X, now you're translating it as Y. Why is that? Should it be like that? And initially, when I first heard about their project, to me it didn't sound like very much. It's like, oh yeah, they're taking the English Bible, turning it into their language, job done. Now I know what they're doing, and I admire them for their dedication of wanting to get it right. If they're not sure, they will consult other people. They will go back to original texts. They are so in tune that in their way, they want to honour God, and they do. And it's made such a huge difference to the people, because they call it having the Bible in their heart language. Because they've had it in English, they've had it in Uganda, which is a language they speak, but it's not the same. So when we met some of the Sunday school teachers, they got so excited, because they said, look, it makes my job easier. It's hard for me to teach from a Bible that I find hard to understand. Now I've got it in my own language. It's much easier.
Katrin, just a quick question.
Yeah.
What's the population of people who speak that language?
I'm sorry, I have no idea.
I think it's about 500, 600,000. It's not a big people group.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a legacy, isn't it, for them for years to come, them and their children's children, etc.
And they also, as part of their community engagement, they have a program called Let's Read Together. So they're using the Bible to teach the children to read. I mean, what better thing can you do? Because you're feeding them the word from the moment they learn to read, and it helps them do better at school, and it has a huge impact on the communities. But I think we'll talk about that a bit later.
Right, we probably need to move on because
Yes.
it's nearly 3:15 and we haven't hardly started. So.
Right.
Do you want to just talk about this?
Yeah, this is done by local artists. They illustrate books, they're ginormous, where you have a big page of illustration that you get, the kids get shown first, and then you have, I don't know, 3 or 4 sentences on the next page, and they use that to teach them to learn to read. And it relates to them, so the drawings are done by local artists because they draw about what these kids are exposed to. There's no point sending them a spaceship or something. So.
Yeah, I think, I thought that was quite clever. Bridget, who we'll see again in a minute, explained that the reason they have the picture on one side and then the words on the other, they don't show them the words first, they show them the picture first. So they actually see, and she asks them what do they see in the picture, and of course it's all about local stuff, they identify with it immediately because it means something. All the things that are in the picture mean something, and then they turn to the next page, which is the actual translation or the story. It'll be story, then, and they understand that it actually does relate to them. It's about them. Okay, so which day do we do this? On the
Sunday.
Monday?
Sunday. It was the
Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh, yes,
First
Sunday,
Sunday,
yes.
wasn't it?
It's the first Sunday.
Yeah.
We did some church visits, so
Yeah.
this one is Graham. Do you want to talk about
Yes,
this, Graham, very
certainly,
quickly?
certainly. This was, well, there was 5 of us, as you know. We were split up into a 2, a 2 and a 1, and guess who was the 1? Yes, yours truly. And off we go. I went off with Michael and Pastor Timothy and Pastor George. And we got in the car and we went off down these dusty old tracks, back and beyond in the middle of nowhere, come into this clearing, and that's what there was in front of us. This is a church, the Pentecostal. This is Kabuna, Pentecostal church. And I tell you what, just as we're getting out of the car, it suddenly dawned on me, I'm going to be the only white person in this church. So Michael, no, it was Pastor Timothy, turned around to me and said, don't worry, he said, we're all the same colour blood underneath our coloured skins. So you'll be fine. So the Sunday school we're sat having lessons under a big tree in the shade over there. So we haven't got time to see them. We're late because we were up at 6, breakfast at 7. Should have left at 8. Well, it's Uganda time, whenever, So we got here at 9:15. The service started at 8:30. Now, we go on in the side door at the front, and that's what met me on the right there. So, as you can see, just on the left by that bit of red tablecloth, there's some posh chairs, okay? They were for us with a little coffee table in front with some bottles of water, which I was grateful for because it was so hot in there, as you can imagine. And the praise and worship was in full flow. My goodness me, the worship leader, sweat dripping off him. He was going for it. The floor around him was wet from all the sweat. And, okay, so then they swapped over. A lady swapped over with him, carried on with the worship, the choir behind going. There was a chap on the keyboard. Oh, it was just something else. Wow, this is brilliant. Thank you. Having a great time, yeah, and all that. And then it comes to the point where you have to get up the front and give account of yourself. Okay, right. So that was that. So we did that, and the service goes on. There's praying and more worship and dancing and singing. And the girls, the women wanted to all do their bit for us because there was a guest, you see. So thank you very much, Lord. And then it comes to the point where the pastor gets up and speaks. Well, I tell you, he did not need a microphone. He was so loud and so excited about the gospel. Wow, I tell you, this is just... The doors are open, there's women and children just milling around because, he'd get up and go, but they all were smartly dressed because it's a Sunday. And they do that because they're going to go and worship their king. It's like us going to go, say, King Charles at Buckingham Palace. You don't want to go in your rags. You're going to get smartly dressed up, and that's what they do. So anyway, the service carries on. The pastor's done his sermon, and then more singing. And then Pastor Timothy gets up there and says, Graham, I want you to come back up the front. Uh-oh. So I get back up the front. Now, for some reason, they could not pronounce my name Graham. They call me Graham, okay? So he said, okay, I'll get up the front there. And he says, Graham, we'd like to honour you with a Bagweary name. Oh, okay, because he said what we do is we either put an O in front of the name or an O at the end of the name. So he was saying then, we like to call you O. Graham. So, oh, thank you very much. Okay, we want you to use that. So out comes the visitor's book. You've got to write O. Graham in the book. Okay, so we did that. And then by now it's 12 o'clock, okay? So this service had been going on over 3 hours. So marvellous, well, pretty much anyway. So comes the point, say, well, look, we're going to have to leave because we've got to be somewhere else, or we should have been somewhere else. But we have to see the Sunday school outside because they want to show you how they've grown in their reading. So they pick the best ones that can read. So they stand up and one at a time and read to you. You're sat down in chairs, of course, again, and welcomed very nicely, and they're singing. It says, read, yeah, okay. And then this one lad gets up and he starts reading. And he's reading, and then they suddenly realised, and he's reading a long time. You've had your chapter, come on. So he was very keen on reading, obviously. So at that point, the pastor comes up to us on his motorbike, no helmet, that's health and safety is not happening out there. So he turns up on his motorbike, comes up to me in my chair there, says, and we have a chat and all the rest of it. And I took a picture of him. Mind if I take a picture? No, I don't think I've got it. But on his fuel tank, he had Royal Kingdom, Bagweary. I thought, that's just... Anyway, that was probably me. But then comes the point where we have to leave. And that was such a shame. Then we had to dash off and go somewhere else. But it was quite an experience.
Let's move on to Katrin.
Me? Yes, I was at church. And this was after the service. And as the story goes, the lady with the red scarf on her head, she has invited us to hers for lunch. But as we were out of time, she brought the lunch. So therefore, I was given a chicken and a bag of rice. A live chicken. I did wonder why she was sitting next to me with this poor chicken on her lap with her legs tied. And the other lady, the lady with the red book, that's the Bible. And she volunteers for SIL, which is the local partner organisation for Wycliffe out there, doing the languages and the teaching and the reading. And I've got a lovely video of her, which is far too long. It's more like singing than talking about why she's so pleased that she's got the Bible. She's got a couple of her young people with her. And yeah.
Okay, right, so
And that's you.
on the same day I went to a Catholic church, and this was the scene. We were sitting on seats at the side, and this was opposite me on the other side of the church, and the priest was to the right here, and this was the worship. The church was absolutely crammed with people, and I found out afterwards there were people outside as well. So many children. Okay, well that does go on a bit longer, but we got to move on a bit fast. Okay, so this group of people, we met on the Monday, I think, Monday morning, and they're led by a bishop, a retired bishop in the Pentecostal church, wasn't it? Yeah. And they kind of oversee the whole sort of project, Bible translation and literacy work. And the literacy side of it is really a big part of the operation, because obviously it's no good having a Bible that people can't read, even if it's in their own language. They've got to learn to read their own language because it's never been written down before. So that was quite an interesting experience. This is just a few of the locally made instruments, and they make the most phenomenal sounds. It's really good, the worship. We haven't actually got a clip of that, I'm afraid, but, well, we have somewhere probably, but I haven't got it in the PowerPoint. This is Bridget. Now, Bridget is a trainer of trainers. She trains the people who train the children and adults to read in their language. So she's a very important person. She's a lovely girl, woman, and she works with SIL, but doing this literacy training. And she was due to do a third year of her course in qualifying to do this, and her sponsorship has been pulled because SIL can't afford to do it anymore. And so she has been working in this project completely voluntarily. She tries to do stuff to earn a little bit of income on the side of this, but giving 2 days a week to the literacy work. So she's a really passionate, enthusiastic and dedicated person. Yeah.
Because context, what would it cost for her their salary? Because salaries are a lot lower, aren't they?
Well, the training is £3,000, isn't it?
200, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had an email about that. I don't know, they call it a stipend. I don't know how much they would have paid her. But the biggest problem she has, you can't have part-time work in Uganda. It's either full-time or nothing. So it's very hard. She lives by faith.
Yeah.
I have emailed Martin the email that I received about the funding, and he's gone back to some higher people in Whitcliffe, and I'll let you know what it is.
Yeah.
But it may be that, you know, in the light of what you hear, you might want to actually support Bridget, because she is a very dedicated person, I can tell you.
She's amazing.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
So I can't remember where this was. Do you remember where this was?
I've got it here. Hang on.
Have you?
Yeah.
Anyway, we visited...
That was our last afternoon when we met that was the other language group. Well, you remember when we turned out, we saw the school children that waited for us?
Is that the same place?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
It looks like it.
So we visited another literacy project, a group
Busaba.
where people are being taught.
That was at Busaba.
Where?
Yeah, Busaba.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, yes. Anyway, we can't dwell on this too long. We moved at Tuesday, wasn't it, to do some home visits?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And we all went to different
Homes.
translators' homes.
No, Brook, it wasn't, because we had the Dicky Tummy. Tuesday.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
No, it was Monday afternoon.
It was Monday afternoon. If
after
only
the
our
outing.
Dicky Tummies had only been one day, that would have been marvellous. Mine lasted about 5 days. So.
That was the Monday.
Yes, this was
Monday
Monday.
afternoon.
Anyway,
That's right.
we each visited the home of one of the Bible translation team. I visited Robert. Robert, you can just see on the extreme left. He's not even included in the picture. But his wife is the second lady in from the right, and the other lady with the band on her head, pink band, is his sister-in-law, who lives basically through that door in the other part of the house. And the reason for that is her husband was killed in an accident, I think, car accident. And so Robert not only looks after his own family, he looks after her family, and also they live in a very tight community of people. It's a kind of extended family, and he supports all of those people and some others who he's kind of taken on board as well. And he probably earns very little from his translation work. So he does the translation work, he looks after his little farm, he's got a few livestock, quite a few livestock as well. It's amazing the commitment, dedication of these people to do what they do. So that was the same place, looking back at the house where we were, and we had been offered food, but because we had not a very good stomach, I declined on that occasion. So we went to various places to visit literacy projects. This was one that we went to, and as we approached, we couldn't make out what all the people were in the road. And I said, well, what's going on here? It turned out to be a welcome party. And they were all marching towards us with these branches and singing away. And we went their way. Back towards the church, which is where we were heading. Anyway, when we got there, this is what we had. Under the trees, we sat in the shade, and we had a fantastic time. They did some presentations, some reading of the Bible, which they had learned, and so on. And we had a great time. All the time this was going on, the skies were getting darker and darker. And we could see at some point it was going to absolutely throw it down with rain. And sure enough, it did. So they did a few kind of things, presentations, and then we moved into the church because it began to some spots of rain. We thought in a minute it's going to absolutely fall down. And this was what I took looking out the window from the church. It was absolutely torrential.
We were very pleased there that we brought the rain with us. So you're a blessing. You brought the rain with you, which brings life, you know.
Did you explain that's what it's like in Blandford?
Yeah, we get it all the time, yeah.
Now, Graham, you want to quickly?
Oh yes, that one's good.
We've literally run out of time.
Yes, this was on a Sunday afternoon. Katrin and myself, Martin and Michael and Gasiodo went to this place, once again in the middle of sort of, I don't know where, and we were greeted with dancing by these young girls. Now, this was a different district, so the girls there were dancing, wiggling their hips, right? There were some other districts we went to where it was shoulder dancing, yeah? And that was an experience, wasn't it, Katrin?
Was indeed.
Yes.
I think this was, for me, probably the poorest place that I've visited on this trip.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to see that they're all poor, but there is a definite difference between poverty amongst the various communities.
But once again, they're so happy with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so generous.
Yeah.
This was a photo that Martin took. I don't know where it was, which group it was with, but that is just so typical of the children. They always are so welcoming, so happy, smiling, and just so pleased that you've come to visit them. So this group was the Lanioli visit, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the day
So
you
this was
two
going
weren't
to
there.
another of a different translation
Team that we
working
met.
in a neighbouring area. So we actually did the same with them as we had done with the Lugwiri. This was a visitor's school after we'd been to a literacy project just next door, and the whole school stayed behind,
Yes.
didn't they?
They came out at 4 o'clock and we weren't finished till about 4:45, and they all waited for us.
Yeah.
That was quite an experience. So we thought you might like to just see a few things that we saw along the way. This is sugar cane, which it was quite interesting to watch people transport things around on bicycles.
Oh yes.
The most challenging thing that I think we saw was, galvanised steel roofing, 8-foot sheets, on the back of a bicycle. Widthways. So they were going down the road like that. Just incredible.
And a mattress at one time, wasn't there, as well? Back of a
yes.
well, Buddha, they call them motorbikes up there, but they're just everywhere. And a door, once again, widthways. And there you go.
Four sacks of coal,
Yeah.
like those big things
Yeah.
on the back of
So
the
this was Graham saw this.
Now, this was a picture. I said, quickly get a picture of this because 4 people on a motorbike, but the most I saw was 5, but I wasn't quick enough to get that one, so I got the 4. And I mean, it's so dangerous, isn't it? Look at that.
This is on the right. I don't know who that is. Some guy that was hanging about the place.
You snipped that one in.
Officially, they allowed 1 on the back of the bike.
Wearing the same shirt.
Yes, all right.
The boy in the middle seat.
This was the day that we decided we could not possibly be too far away from the loo, so we stayed behind, and the rest went on.
Yeah.
This was after my visit to Robert's house, and we were told, we got a message saying, oh, you've got to walk home. It was about 28 degrees at the time, and I didn't know how far it was, to be honest. You don't realise when you're driven somewhere how far it is. So we sat out, and we came across this guy just wandering down the road with his cattle. He seemed to know what he was doing. This is this little house here is quite typical of people's houses in the Bagwiri area. This is an interesting slide because they make bricks to build their houses from the soil that is underneath them, and they mix it up, squish it together, put it in a mould, and then put it out to dry, and that's what's on the right here. And then at a certain stage they cover it all over with grass so it doesn't get too dry too quickly. And then when it's really quite hard, they build it into this thing here, which they then light a fire under. And then they bake all the bricks in the pile. It's quite clever how they do that. These are typical Bagwiri houses. Those who are slightly better off or can afford it will build, again, a brick house, but with a tin roof. Or some even more wealthy ones would have tiles on the roof. But that, I said to one of the people we were travelling with, oh, they're small houses, aren't they? Because quite a few people live in them. And they said, actually, they're surprisingly large when you get in them. Now, some more of the same houses, but I didn't see this, so I don't know whether you know where this is.
No.
But
I didn't see that.
I think, though Martin must have taken this picture, I think those are pots, which are with the heads of the pots, the open bits facing the sun, so they maximum drying out. So they're very creative people. Now you might wonder what this is. This is rice being dried in the sun. These are some people ploughing a field with a single furrow plough. Now, I don't know if you know what these things are. These were, I think, gifts that we were given. So, in the bag on the left, what was that? Was it
Papaya.
papaya? The one pointy fruit sticking out is papaya. There's mangoes. That's a jackfruit. They grow massive great things on trees. Now, just poking out of the cardboard box, you might notice something. A chicken.
Yes.
In fact, there were 2 chickens in there.
Two chickens.
And we were driving along and they said, what's that noise? Oh, there's a chicken in the back. This is where they buy their rice. Okay, so that's the end of the Bagwiri bit and translation work. Then we moved forward. Should we continue or do you want us to stop?
Don't worry.
I can't see the boss. There she is.
4 o'clock might be the absolute deadline.
Right, okay. So this is now at Music for Life in Kampala. The important people to know here are Sally, who you will have met at Monday Fellowship, I think, before. And on the right is a guy called Abraham. Abraham is a fantastic guy. When I went in 2008, he was just a young chap, very enthusiastic, but not a lot of experience, not a lot of skills. And over the years, Sally has mentored him into an amazing leader. He's a great guy, very passionate.
He was a choir child in the 80s.
Yeah. So this is us just as we got there. We met a few of the staff. I can't remember these people's names, I'm afraid. Now, this lady on the left, you might just remember seeing last year. She came with the Ubuntu choir. Do you remember her? Her name's Sandra. And she said hi to everybody back here. And she was very different. I found her very, very, very easygoing, very relaxed, and very friendly. Mm-hmm. So on one of the days we were there, and we were only actually visiting things for 2 days, we went to a slum in Kampala. And that was quite an experience, a very sobering experience. We walked through little narrow, the bit between the houses is probably no wider than about that. And you wind between, all these houses, and there are open drains. The smell
Wasn't too bad.
not too bad, but you weren't quite sure what you were walking on all the time. You're sort of picking your way. But in the middle of all this, after a few minutes of walking, we came to this. You had to climb up on a wall, go through a hole in the wall, and we were at a primary school. And this is the primary school. Mm-hmm. And it was quite an amazing experience just to be there in that environment. It looks quite tropical and nice. It was actually an appalling place, wasn't it, really, the area. But for some reason, there are trees in that bit. I didn't see trees anywhere else, but...
what they were expecting from their university students was to give back in time. So we met on the first day, the university students teaching the new P2 class, and I think they were about, 10 years old, or give or take. And it was a very basic lesson on how to keep myself clean. It was very good.
Yeah. This was the home of one of the parents of one of the choir members, the current choir members being trained, I think. And this was her home, and she actually had a little shop, which was outside. And here's the shop. And she was very happy for us. Oh, I think I might miss one.
Yeah, there.
Yeah. So this is the lady on the right here, and literally, that is her home. That is it. What you can see is it. It's very little more than you imagine the distance. It probably was about from here to the edge of the platform in length, and probably
maybe
not as wide as that bit of the platform here. It was very tight. But she was very pleased for us to be there. She made us very welcome, and she was very proud of her child being in the choir. Very grateful too for that. So this was her shop, and this is just us in one of the alleyways outside her shop. So we then went to the primary school, which has been built by Music for Life for the children. Once they've been in the choir for however many months that is, on tour around the world singing and raising funds for Music for Life, they come back and they go to the primary school. And this school has only been in operation for a few years. Probably, it's been built since I was there. It was partially built when I went in 2008, and it's been completed since then. But amazing facilities. What you see on this right-hand picture is the kitchen, where they cook all the food. I don't know if we might have a close-up. Oh no, I haven't got a close-up. This is at the bottom of the plot, which goes down to Lake Victoria. And you can see Lake Victoria in the background. Lake Victoria is massive. And that's just a little kind of indentation in the side of it. But an amazing place. This is where the choir, once children are selected to be in the choir, and they've been through a kind of screening process, they come and they stay in this academy for a training period of several months before they go on tour. And obviously they refine their skills and so on.
They were 28-year-olds who'd only been there 2 or 3 weeks. They performed for us. They were settled, considering they'd just been plugged out of their home situations. And yeah, it was incredible.
This is the master plan for the school. Now, it's not all completed, but this is the secondary school called the Empower International Academy, which, again, has been built since I was in Uganda and is much more recent. It's only been actually functioning for about 4 years, 3 or 4 years, I think. So that's what the plan is to eventually have in total. They've probably got about halfway, I would say. So they've got classrooms, they've got dormitories. It's got a lot, and it's absolutely beautiful.
So is that a church school, or is it just a state school?
It's a church. It's a Christian school.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a secondary school that follows on from the primary school.
Yeah.
So it's all run by Music for Life, because
Okay.
in the past they sent them to the local secondary schools, but found that they often regressed. It didn't work as well because the classes are a bit bigger and lots of other reasons. So
So Music for Life runs that school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is just more of the grounds were designed. You know, they weren't just we'll plonk a tree there or whatever. It's all been
But
landscaped.
they also take fee-paying students.
Yes.
So it's
And the idea
it needs
is
to be
that that
self-sustaining.
will help to support the education process. This is again at the secondary school, and these are various groups that we went around the school. We were given tours we were taken off individually with a bunch of students, and we were shown different parts of the school. But at that point, it started to pour with rain. So we were darting between things. But this is in the kind of the main hall where they meet for their communal things and services and so on. And we were, well, Graham's in full flow at that point, but we were just telling them about ourselves. And
Sorry, that's me.
was it yours that was doing that? I don't know. Anyway, so the important thing on this slide is there are the bunk beds that we paid for with the funds from our Christmas appeal. Not just those 4, but those examples are the ones we bought, and the mattresses.
And they had spare mattresses as well.
Yes,
didn't
they were very proud of their beds.
There's Graham Bouvine. What really impressed us was just the joy in these students' faces, and the reality of their faith in Jesus. And when we came to the end of this session, I think it was it that one where they sang the blessing?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
When we'd finished doing what we were doing, and they'd done several things to presentations, if you like, they then had a little worship time, and then they said, we want to sing the blessing over you. That was pretty amazing.
Very special.
But it was just so wonderful to look out on this sea of faces, and you could see they were all passionate for Jesus. It was just so wonderful to be a part of.
The other thing, Brook, as well, I noticed was the fact there's no sheet music anywhere. They all play their instruments by ear. So they taught, I had a word with the music teacher, they're all taught to play by the ear. I mean, that's a gift in itself. Something special, that is.
Yeah. So this is just something I saw on one of the notice boards. It's about their approach to learning. So it's not really about, these are the rules, you obey them. If you don't, you get punished, and this is the result. That's the the behaviour management approach on the left. The school tends to use this, what they call the stoplight approach, which is much more about encouragement, recognising that we make mistakes, and you can overcome those mistakes, you can work through them, and work towards engagement and learning. And so that's the model they choose to use. And this was something about their school vision and where they see they're going as a school.
I mean, the other thing they do for all the children, whether they're in the primary school or the secondary school, is that they all go back after each term for about a month. So they take everything they've learned back to their homes and their communities. So it gets passed on from the word go.
So this was just at the end of one of the visits.
This was the primary school.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the
Yes.
thing is, they're all dressed the same and they've all got short hair in the primary school. And because the girls aren't developing, you have no idea if it's a girl or a boy. And of course, it got a bit awkward at times. Yes. So to be a bit careful with that one.
I think, didn't they put that together themselves?
Yes, probably.
I think they got together and they said, we want to do this together,
Yeah.
and they put that performance on themselves. So that's very impressive.
Yeah.
So this is the end. I think we just want to thank BBC and for all of you who've been a part of this, enabling it to happen. Thank you for what you did give over Christmas, for the appeal, and it really has blessed the students. They're so grateful. They've got nice beds to sleep on and mattresses. And also for those of you who did give some money towards helping us to afford to be able to go to do this whole experience, and we're very grateful to you too. I think we may never know this side of heaven the thousands of lives that will be touched because they have the Laguerre Bible in their hands, the Word of God, in their heart language, the language they understand, and that is so, so valuable. One person said to me, I was a Christian before I had the Laguerre Bible, but now I can really understand it. And my relationship with Jesus has really grown much more. That's the difference having the Bible in the heart language makes. And we are part of helping that to happen. So praise the Lord.